Hello, guys, and welcome to a new episode of the F1 podcast. As today, we're going to review all the things that happened during the Bahrain preseason testing for the first part, which was 3 days, and also the other part, which happened from the 18th to 20th of February. Also, there was two editions of testing, not only just one in Bahrain, because obviously, it's the new regulation cycle. So every team's trying to test every single thing in this kind of regulations. Whereas that is reliability, the car, the pace, whatever. They're trying to test absolutely everything. So let's start with the teams. Obviously, you look at the teams uh, who let's say, have impressed in this in general testing, not only Bahrain and Barcelona. You look at obviously the teams likes of Mercedes, the teams likes of Ferrari, who've actually looked quite good. But obviously, because you never know with Ferrari, it's difficult to predict. Red Bull are not as good as we thought they were. Like, for example, in the first day in the Bahrain testing, they were fantastic. They looked like they were very good, but in general, pace probably not better than Mercedes, McLaren, and Ferrari. And then you've got the midfield teams. The likes of Williams and Aston Martin struggling massively. And you've got Alpine and Haas doing really, really well. So tell me, Mohammed, what do you think about this whole Bahrain testing? Obviously, not from what we've seen from the teams in terms of reliability and their performance and what they can produce for the upcoming season.
Uh, Reliability has been very well and very well in general. I think there has been hiccups, but that's expected. According to Rob Marshall, every single part in the car has changed. There's not been one thing that stayed the same. So it makes sense why there would be issues. The teams are still wrapping their heads around these new cars. But obviously, I have to say this. I have to. It's the elephant in the room, as they say. Aston Martin, very disappointing from Aston Martin. In general, the gearbox looks shit. The engine looks mediocre. The reliability is dog shit. I don't know what to say, man. There's even been rumors that they won't even show up to uh, Australia. And apparently, according to some, Honda's not gonna fix the issue until the Chinese Grand Prix or even the Japanese Grand Prix. I don't even believe them anymore. But yeah, by far the worst team, I think in the pecking order is by far Aston Martin. They've had the lowest. I think the biggest winners of this test has been McLaren. They've had the least hiccups. They didn't have to change the engine as much. They did have the. I know I understand the last day of testing they did have that coolant issue in the car, radiator issue, but overall McLaren I think had one of the best tests. This test has by far been the best. One of the most the teams with the most laps. One of the teams with the most laps. But yeah, yeah, it's the reliability has been good. I would say overall.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think you look at the teams like McLaren who accept that technical issue that they had, which is the reason why Lando didn't run as much as laps as he should have in the final day of testing. I think McLaren have looked really good in reliability, but not the only team who've looked really good in reliability. You look at teams likes of Racing Bulls and Haas, they look very strong in reliability. Mercedes got themselves a lot of laps as well, the most laps out of any team, even though they had some issues from Kimi Antonelli's car, which was I think in the first part of testing, second day. So yeah, and then you obviously look at teams like Aston Martin. I mean, they ran only 128 laps, which is even like 100 and something like 40 laps less than a Cadillac. They just joined Formula One. Um, so yeah, it looks of for sure the biggest loser is Aston Martin. I think Williams have been better than we anticipated. They were obviously before Bahrain testing, we all thought, oh, Williams, they are absolutely screwed here with not even attending Barcelona testing and crashing failing the crash test 3 times, etc. But I think they're not as bad as we
Yeah,
thought.
yeah. The 100.
However,
Can I say something? I don't think
yeah, go on.
the package is bad. Like the aerodynamic package is bad. I think they're just really overweight. Once they shed off a little bit of weight, they're gonna gain a lot of performance. I heard Palmer say that, and I think it's true. Once they shed off a little bit of that weight, go on a diet, they're gonna be fast. But yeah, anyways, move on.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Williams, they obviously they also faced that issue before testing that the car looked a bit overweight. But Williams with the expectations everybody had, even though they're not as bad as we thought, with everybody's expectations people had before all the testing, we thought that because they have a Mercedes engine and they did well last season and they prepared for this season very early for the new regulation, we expect them to be like a top three team, but that is not the case. Listen, still a long way to go. Obviously, the development would play a very, 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 very key role, as I think Andrea Stella said before. So, yeah, let's see what happens. But you have to look at the teams likes of Haas, the likes of Alpine. They've impressed. They impressed me, really well. But more Haas because of the amount of laps they put in, the amount of effort they put in, and how the pace also, and also their reliability. So,
I think.
yeah, but we talk about teams like also let's say Ferrari. I mean, Ferrari they looked quite strong in some aspects of the testing in general. Not all of them because I think Lewis Hamilton had an issue in one of the testing. But they some of the parts, some of the most of the days in the testing they've looked very very strong. Do you think Ferrari, let's say, obviously I don't think they're the best team for sure, but do you think they are, let's say, better than McLaren or no?
As much as you know what, it's gonna be close. I think it's gonna be close at the front. I don't think there's a team that's gonna be out there the fastest. Let's just say, I also heard this Palmer say this. I think it's gonna be like this. I think there's gonna be a massive gap between, like, say, fourth and fifth. So there's gonna be like a 3 to 5 second gap between third and fourth and fifth. Basically, the midfield and the top teams. But the top teams are all gonna be close. So I can't really predict. And I gotta say, I think Ferrari 100% turned up the engine in the last, like, hour of testing. Turned up the engine and turned up the wick just for confidence. But yeah, let's just say Ferrari could have the best test, but when it comes to execution, like, let's say they might have a good test, but when it comes to execution in real races, we know Ferrari, they tend to do incredibly bad. I don't I don't I don't know. I don't hold hope that they're gonna do good. I don't have hope that they're gonna do good. But I maybe this is actually a new Ferrari and Ferrari has changed, but I have no idea. I can't really tell.
Yeah, understood. I think we've seen this story before with Ferrari. I mean, I remember 2019 where they had that unbelievable performance in testing, and everybody was saying, "Oh, Ferrari, the fastest team. Oh, Mercedes are screwed. They had a terrible testing, And then when the season started, it was absolutely the opposite.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's very difficult to predict. It's very, very, very difficult to predict. But we talked about the teams, how well they do, etc., etc. Well, let's talk about the drivers because obviously the drivers, obviously, there's been a lot of chat between between the drivers in the interviews, in the press conference, and what they say. Obviously, one of them was, Piastri was saying that the starts. Obviously, one of the key points was the starts.
Yeah.
Piastri was saying the starts could be a recipe for disaster. The way they've been training, the testing, the tests, the race starts in testing. Verstappen was saying the car is anti-racing. It is Formula E in asteroids. So a lot of drivers have been criticizing the the regulations, and some drivers like Lando and Georgia, let's say, more kind to the regulations, but they also say the restarts it can be very unsafe. So
Uh,
what do you think the whole side of the new regulation, the way people are talking in terms of the drivers and also the race starts? Do you think that's going to be a big problem for the drivers?
Race starts are gonna be tough, but there is solutions. Why do I say there is solutions? Because McLaren started at the start of this test with one of the worst teams on the grid when it comes to race starts. They were really bad, but at the end of the race or the last day, they found something. Like they really found something because Oscar Piastri had a really good start when he was in the car, and also Lando Norris had a mega start when when he did his start. If you see on his onboard, he legit it felt like he was just the restart was as good as the Ferraris. He he warp speed. He was so fast. He had to even lift off. He was so fast that when he had to brake because he could have crashed into Colapinto ahead. That's how good. So
Mhm.
there is solutions to it, and McLaren have already found solution to that. And I think McLaren are gonna other teams are gonna find solutions before Bahrain. They've got a lot of data. They can take that data and figure out some and figure out and figure it out. And I think it's not an issue. Is this regulations a little bit anti-racing? Yeah, I would say yeah. These regulations are a little bit shit, but there could be fixes. There definitely could be ways to fix the issues that we face right now. And Andrea Stella has said that there's there's ways we can fix the racing and make the racing a little bit more fun. So I think the FIA are gonna take a look into this, and then we might see some changes before Australia or even mid-season changes.
Mhm. Yeah. You talk about the race starts, and yes, obviously there's always solution for everything. I mean, nothing is impossible. Um, because you see teams like Ferrari, like for example, Lewis Hamilton in his race start in one of the testing was like, "Phew, that was a that was amazing."
Yeah, yeah, I've seen that.
Um, so of course, there's always solution for that kind of things. As Valtteri Bottas and Hamilton and Verstappen said at the press conference, you know, yeah, of course, yeah, race starts is not the worst as before. So obviously that's the difference. Drivers will find it great, and some drivers will not find it exciting. That's the part of the new regulation cycle. But what do you think of also the comments of the likes of Piastri, who was saying that the race starts could be recipe for disaster, and also drivers like Max Verstappen calling the new regulation, let's say anti-racing. What do you make of it?
The racers, I agree with Oscar Piastri, but as I said, McLaren have already found the solution, so it won't be a recipe for disaster. It won't be an issue. But yeah, I understand how the racers could be a problem. For example, we've seen many times where drivers would stall the car, and that could be unsafe. Because if I remember correctly, there was a in 20, I think it was 19, Abu Dhabi F2. Some like three cars stalled, and there was a big crash at the start. It was really scary. I understand that could be an issue. Uh, but I think there's already been a solution. I think there's a solution to this type of stuff. These regular anti-racing, I understand that these regulations are a little bit like, let's just say there's a lot of lift and coast, especially due to the battery. But as I said this again, there is a solution to this. The FIA could work with the teams, and there could be a solution to this. To fix the issues that the battery, like these regulations are like, as a whole, they're good, they're fine. The only issue is the battery and the new engine. If the new engine is tweaked and fixed, then I think these regulations would be fine for the most part.
Mhm. So having you said that, do you think people, let's say, are overreacting the way they're saying, "Oh, this new regulation is going to be an absolute disaster and it's going to be a
Pe-
terrible season in terms of racing and etc."
People in nowadays in F1 listen to a driver and they kiss his ass. That's how I'm gonna say it. I know when I'm done and everything, they kiss their asses. Oh, the regulations are bad. Okay, I'm gonna